Angela Rayner and her plans for planning have been published, of course, and she was talking just yesterday about how confusing it all is, because she seems to think that there's plenty of housing on the one hand, but on the other hand she says there's not enough housing. She's not quite sure which way round it goes, but they want to build 1.5 million houses in this country, and of course one of the things they're promising to do is take the power away from local councils to veto big developments, so that basically local mayors can have greater control. They can take decisions made basically on a regional rather than a local level. Lindsey, though, lives in a place where they already feel under occupation by big energy. Let's find out what's going on up there. Lindsey, very good morning to you.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for talking to us. You're somebody that lives in probably quite a nice rural part of the country, I'm guessing. Tell us what's been going on, and particularly with regard to big energy.
Yeah, well, I live in the Highlands of Scotland, iconic landscapes, beautiful place. People come up here, you know, to visit and to find themselves. It's good for the soul. And we're under occupation by big energy, and it's been backed by the SNP. And so we've been fighting probably since 2011 against multiple wind farm developments. Yeah. We don't really have the solar problem quite so much up here, but it is beginning to creep in, and battery storage. And now Westminster, the SNP has full control over planning. So basically nothing's built here without Scottish Government approval. Right. The only interference that UK Westminster can do is to change the Electricity Act, which takes away the automatic public inquiry if a local authority objects to a big major infrastructure project, or like a big wind farm or pylon lines, for example, which we're facing now. Right. It's just a democratic outrage. It's our only opportunity, affordable opportunity, to scrutinise plans in a public arena and have independent experts cross-examine developers, and they want to take that from us. Yeah,
and I mean, how does it work normally? Do you have to sort of figure out exactly how a deal is being done? Do you discover it by chance? Do you have to go and check documents? Because, I mean, if you found, for example, that some energy company wanted to put up a whole load of wind farms on an adjacent part of your land, or land very close to you, how do you even find out about it?
Well, I mean, they have to advertise in the local press. Not everybody reads the local press now, and then they're supposed to notify people in the immediate area, but that doesn't always happen. So often people are quite shocked to find out. They use obscure names too, so it doesn't actually necessarily link the wind farm to any particular area. Right. So, you know, unless you're very switched on, you're looking on the Highland Council website, you wouldn't really find out necessarily.
So have you thwarted a few plans for these wind farms to go up?
Yes, we've fought, and we've fought hard, but it's like firefighting. Yeah, once you beat one, another one comes over the hill at you. And these aren't local companies. These are now global investment companies. You're talking about shareholders being BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street. They've got no interest in the Highlands. They've got no interest in the communities. And now we're facing massive pylon lines and substations of 800 acres, bigger than Glasgow Airport, put into communities, you know, and some of these substations have homes within those the sites, and people are having to move out. Right. It's like the clearances all over again.
Yeah, and would they say, if I asked them, which I don't intend to do, that they're creating jobs up there? Because one of the things that Keir Starmer's doing in Saudi Arabia today, apparently, is he's talking to all sorts of investment companies there, saying, oh, let's do some joint ventures. He's going to build houses in Newcastle. He's going to have mission statements all over the place about joint, you know, partnerships with decarbonisation companies. And it's all a bit nebulous, but sounds quite terrifying if you're going to end up with one of these things anywhere near you.
Yeah, and it's not just one. I mean, there's one community near me that's got 5 battery storage surrounding it being proposed. I mean, and these are people who've got nothing to do with battery storage. They're just getting in on the bandwagon because they're going to do energy trading and make a lot of money, because wind is so intermittent, they're having to store it in the first place. So they're creating yet another problem. And then it seems to be the world and his wife can put in for a battery storage unit. They don't really have to be experienced in what they're doing. Right. It is absolutely terrifying. It's terrifying on the roads now. All we see is, well, certainly in this area, it's SSE. All their wagons, you know, charging up and down the road. You're either behind one or in front of one or being overtaken by one. It is terrifying.
Yeah. And what about the job situation? I mean, do any of these businesses create jobs for people? Do you need jobs up there?
Well, I think there is groundwork jobs probably for the local people, but they ship a lot of workers in and they're building workers' accommodation. So they're not many very local jobs. Right. They're bringing people in. When they built the Beaulieu Denny, which was the last pylon line they put up here, they were people from Malaysia. You know, they were just shipping them in because they haven't got the skills, they haven't got the people to do it.
And this is exactly what they're doing today, right? Listen to this, and you'll recognise this, I'm sure. Further boosting the green energy relationship between the UK and Saudi Arabia, Oxford-based private equity fund HiCap is supporting Saudi Arabia's plans to reach net zero emissions by 2060 by investing $785 million to develop hydrogen mobility clusters in Northern Ireland and across the UK. I don't even know what a hydrogen mobility cluster is, but it doesn't sound good.
It's all just to bamboozle us. I mean, we get all sorts of things which you just shake your head. I've been doing this a long time now. You think, I don't even know what that means anymore. And it's deliberate. It's said we don't understand, and we really talk down to like we don't matter. England was lucky in a respect that you had the community veto until Miliband came in and swept that away. But of course, all the developers came to Scotland. The planning fees were less, and it was easier to get through with their SNP buddies to get it through the planning system.
Yeah. It sounds bad. And are you fighting anything in particular at the moment?
Yeah, we've got a massive 400 kV pylon line coming from the top of the country right down to Beaulieu, near where I live, and then it's going back out to Peterhead. Right. Now, they always talk about offshore wind. This is to travel offshore wind. It absolutely is not. It's for more onshore wind turbines, thousands more onshore wind turbines. Right. That's what the Scottish Government wants. And they would put it under sea. Not that I'm advocating doing that, because I wonder about the necessity of it all, and I grieve for the marine life, but that's why they want it overland, so they can hook in more wind farms. And we're seeing a real rash of developments coming through now.
Right. It sounds like a nightmare, but it sounds like you're doing a great job anyway, so I shall take my hat off to you, wish you well. So, Lindsey, let's keep in touch. If you need any help, we'll see what we can do.
Oh, that'd be great. Thanks
very much. Lyndsey Ward there. Sounds like a nightmare up there. Everywhere you turn, there's some big lorry delivering something that you don't want, and that nobody asked you if you wanted. Let's get a voice note from Brian.
Morning, Mike. Brian from Southend. I see old Starmer's off on his travels again. You know, why is it? You know, this country's been battered by floods and recently the storms, and people's houses have been damaged, property's been lost, and they're at an all-time low. You know, people are feeling really low. And not once have I seen either Rayner, Starmer, or any Labour MP, councillor, or whatever, going around these communities and sort of helping these people or trying to sort of gee them up a bit. You know, all they see is despair, and they're downtrodden. They just feel neglected. And what does he do? He's off to Dubai, whatever it is, you know, to watch a Grand Prix, maybe. You know, he's got no thing in this country. He's got no feeling for this country. And as for Rayner, you know, God almighty.